Welcome back to the channel! You guys, I'm in a good mood today. That has not been the case for like several days. Today, though, I woke up and I was okay, so thank God for that. I don't know, you'll see when I show you my different looks. I had some off days this week. I've been having a time. But anyway, today's video is going to be about these sweet, delicious babies. This is the Perfect World collection from Oden's Eye in collaboration with, well, I'll go through each palette. So this is the Flora Story palette in collaboration with Amanda from Makeup Just for Fun. This one is the Planet Spirit palette in collaboration with Betty Bean or Betty Jean. And then this one here is the Sea Talk palette in collaboration with Lauren from Lauren May Beauty. So I did 7 looks using these palettes. Basically, a week of looks. I did 2 looks with each palette individually, and then today's look is actually a combination of all 3. So stick around to the end of the video to see, what I used for this look. And yeah, I guess let's just get into my different looks throughout the week. Okay, so this is look number 1. I decided to go with the Flora Story palette for the first look, which is Amanda's collab palette, Amanda from Makeup Just for Fun. I probably look kind of whack right now. I only put makeup, like on my eyes and my under eyes, I put some concealer. I feel like if I don't put concealer on when I do an eye look, I end up looking kind of like a corpse. Oh, I'm also wearing this. It doesn't really show up purple. This is Lavender Savage from Fenty. It's like the heat formula, so it's cooking my lips a little bit, but yeah, it's not really showing up very purple. But as you can see, I did stick with the more purple shadows in the palette. I'm holding my phone on my ring light. Like I'm holding my ring light as I'm holding my ring light as I talk. So I'll just show you. So this dark purple here, see that one? I use that on my outer corner. I kind of went over it a lot with the shimmer when I put the shimmer on, but you can still see it like through the crease a little bit and everything, and like out here, because I kind of put it on the lid and then blended it outwards. And then this one here, what are the names of these? Azalea, I took on the inner part of my eye and kind of up through the crease. The name of the darker purple is Orchid. I can't see it in the reflection in the phone. I guess it's not a reflection, it's just the phone. But anyway, and then I took the shimmer on the outer part of the lid called Magnolia, which is the purple shimmer. I just kind of took it out here. Kind of, I brought it basically all the way out, but I tried to not completely cover the dark purple matte. By the way, look at all the fallout. That always happens on my right side. No idea why, but every time I get a ton of fallout, it's always my right side of my face. It's got to have something to do with the fact that I'm right-handed. I don't really know. But I also used the lighter purple Azalea on my under eye. I brought it across there. And then I used this beautiful multi-chrome called Dawn. Where is it there? Look how freaking awesome that is. I used that on the inner corner and the inner part of the lid. Took it across a little bit. Really, really beautiful. But yeah, so that's the first look. And so far, I think this is gorgeous. I'm actually kind of surprised by how sparkly the shadows are so far. I don't know why I wasn't necessarily expecting them to be as sparkly as they are, because Oden's Eye's stuff is super, super sparkly. But yeah, that's look number 1. Okay, so this is the day 2 look. This is definitely one of the most effeminate makeup looks that I think I've ever done. I just went all in. I don't know. It is what it is. Today I used the Sea Talk palette, which is Lauren's collab palette. And I literally just used 3 shadows. I used the brown matte called Driftwood. I used the, like, I guess gold or whatever, like neutral shimmer. I don't want to say like a brown shimmer, because what's a brown shimmer? Like it's it's a neutral shimmer called Sunken Treasure. And then on the inner corner, I did Electric Kelp. And this was kind of the look that a lot of people were doing with this palette, because a lot of people wanted to kind of take inspiration from Lauren's style and the way that she does her makeup. So a lot of people were going in with the neutral, through the crease on the lid, even underneath. That's how I did it anyway. And then they were using Electric Kelp, which is actually like a satin shade on the inner corner, because that's something that Lauren likes to do. So that's kind of what I went with for my first look with this palette. Do you like it? Why does that look weird? Whatever. Obviously I have like liner and stuff on too. I did some white in my waterline. But yeah, so that's this look. Do you like it? Does it work? Does it look weird on me because it is so feminine? I don't know. If you saw my Wednesday video, you already saw this look, so. But anyway, yeah, that's day 2. Okay, folks, coming at you with look number 3 using the Planet Spirit palette. Please ignore the face makeup. I was not planning on even really doing face makeup, but whatever, it is what it is. This eye look, though, is gorgeous in my opinion. I think it's really, really beautiful. It's super late, and I'm gonna be going to bed like really soon, but I knew that I had to do this, so I did it, even though it's super late. So I used in the outer corner, see that top shade there? I'm like holding my phone with one hand. Sanctuary, ooh, that one. Ooh. I used that one in the outer corner. Then I used the orange shade, Habitat, in the inner part of my lid and through the crease. I also took Rescue, which is this lighter pink, and I kind of blended out the eye look through the top, kind of brought it up to my eyebrows, made it a little bit more dramatic. And then I also took that shade, Rescue, the lighter one, under my eye, and then I took the orange one, Habitat, kind of in the... So I took the pink one here, and then I took the orange one in here. And then for the inner corner, this is such a mess. For the inner corner, I used Majestic, which is that pretty golden shade there. And then on the lid, I took the sort of iridescent multi-chrome shade called Fauna. And I put that all over the lid, and look at how gorgeous that is. That's a beautiful, beautiful shade. My first instinct, of course, was to do like the pinks, and I really wanted to use Animalia, which is like the kind of red-based one, but that's such a typical thing for me to do. So I decided to kind of do something, I mean, it is still very pink, but I decided to do more of like a orange and pink, kind of sunsetty kind of a look. The shimmers ended up kind of drowning out a lot of that orange. I mean, you can still see it, but I did kind of bring that down a little bit. Look at that multi-chrome though. Look how beautiful that is. I still think it's really, really beautiful. But yeah, I don't know, it's late. I still have some things that I had to do before bed, but I wanted to make sure I got this done. I didn't want to like skip a day. So there's my first look with the Planet Spirit palette. I hope that you like it. Okay, folks, so here is the fourth look. I did this one using the Flora Story palette. I think this is really beautiful. It's just like this really subtle, earthy green sort of a look, or at least subtle for me, because I usually do more kind of intense stuff. But I'll tell you what I used. I used this brown sort of neutral shade. It's a brown neutral shade. I don't know why I said sort of. I used this one in the crease, mostly on just like the outer part. I dragged it in just a little bit, you know, just to create depth through the crease. I think it looks pretty nice. And then I took Sage, which is this darker green, put that on the outer part of the lid. And then I took Clover, which is this lighter green, and ran that underneath my eye. And then I took Best Buds, this one here, this light green shimmer. I put that kind of all over the lid. And I also took a little bit down here. Nope, closing my eye did not help. But you can kind of see I have a little bit of that down there. And then on the inner corner, I went in with the multi-chrome again, Dawn, which kind of presents obviously as different colors and different lighting. But yeah, I think that this is really, really beautiful. I paired it, by the way, with this lippy from ColourPop called Parachute. It's like this orangey red. I think it's really, really beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. I like this one a lot. I'm enjoying this palette. I've definitely noticed, do I fall out? What's going on there? I don't know. But I've definitely noticed that these palettes are giving me pretty subtle looks. Maybe not the look that I did with the Planet Spirit palette yesterday, but the rest of these have been pretty subtle. I don't know. I like this one a lot, though. I think it's beautiful. What do you think? Okay, so this is look number, what am I on, 5 now? Ignore the face makeup. I have a lot of like camo concealer on from e.l.f., which always looks kind of like cakey and weird on me. I don't know. But let's just focus on the eyes. It turned out a lot kind of darker and grungier than I was expecting, so I did a grungy lip. Hope that you like that. So for this one, I used the Sea Talk palette, and I'm honestly pretty surprised by how grungy this turned out. I started with Dolphin Tail, this neutral, like cool tone neutral shade. I took it all, you know, up above the crease, a little bit down here. I ended up also taking it across the lower lash line. Do I look ridiculous? I did this whole look in like not the best lighting. Like I was out in my living room and I don't know, I didn't have great lighting. So if I look completely nuts, that's why. Yeah, anyway, back to the eye look. Then I took Night Swim, which is this dark blue. Took it on the outer part of the lid and kind of ran it through the crease a little. And then I took Ocean Jewel, which is this deep blue shimmer. Just kind of put it, you know, on like the outer part of the lid, not all the way out, but like here. And then I went in with Iridescent Shell, which is kind of like a duochrome, kind of toppery sort of a shade, but I mean, I used my finger to apply it and it went on a lot more opaque actually. So I put it on, you can probably see like here, the inner part of my eyelid, but then I kind of dragged it out over the dark blue Ocean Jewel. So there's that. I kind of feel like I should have put on liner in my waterline, but I'm gonna be going to bed soon. Like, it's mad late. I just threw this together. I'm sure you can tell I look a little weird. I over blushed. See how I over blushed? Whatever. And then on the inner corner, I took, whoa, I almost just like dropped the palette. I took Sea Spray, brought it in here. That shade is a little bit too dark, and I had to go in with like concealer and like kind of tone it down a little. I kind of blended the edges up on top and then took concealer underneath. I actually took concealer underneath my whole lower eye, under eye. What am I saying? Under eye, right? Yes. I took concealer all under here because I went down just a little too low with all these dark shadows. I didn't expect it to get as dark as it did. But anyway, yeah, so that's the second look with the Sea Talk palette. This is the, what did I say before? Fifth look? How many days has it been? Yes, the fifth look with these different palettes. I'm consistently feeling surprised by how all of these looks are turning out, because it's like when I expect them to be more intense, they actually wind up being more subtle. And then when I expect them to be more subtle, they're winding up more intense. So I don't know. I don't know what to think of all of that. What do you think of this? Do I look completely nuts? I don't know. I guess that's that's it for this one. Let's move on to the next one. Oh wait, before we do, look at this. Look at that. Can you believe that started up yesterday and it was just like a weird little zit. Then earlier today, it turned into like it was like a purple color now. It's so ugly. I don't know. Hopefully it looks a little bit better tomorrow, because I hate it. Okay, I don't know. This is the day 6 look. I'm not thrilled with it, honestly. I don't know. I don't like the way that I look today, like, at all. It's like the face makeup, and I don't know. I have this zit that no matter how much concealer I put on it, you can see it through the concealer. You see that? It's like really dark. I don't know. It like turned into a scab and it didn't even pop. It's gross. I don't know. I don't like the way I look. But anyway, let's just talk about the eyes, because the eyes are very nearly good. There is one kind of complaint that I have. Why does this not look blended? Maybe 2 complaints. But oh god, it's been weird. So I'm wearing the Planet Spirit palette today. This is the look. I'm sitting on the floor, like my makeup stuff is all behind me. It's clearly a mess, my unmade mess of a bed. Just ignore all of that. I'm wearing this green shade Kingdom on the outer part of the lid and through the crease. My biggest issue with this look has been that shade, because my biggest issue with the eye look, I should say, is that shade, because you can probably see, it's, as you blend it out, it's a bit patchy, and it just doesn't look right. Like, I don't know if that was just a me thing. I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty used to using these vibrant colors by now, right? Like, I don't think that it's necessarily me, but I think that if I just had another like soft shade to blend it out with, they probably would have worked a little better. Can we try something, actually? I'm going to try to salvage this using the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. I don't really love this palette so much. I feel like when it first came out, a lot of people were very critical of it. And then a lot of people kind of used it more and they started to like it more. I didn't really have that experience, but maybe just because I didn't experiment with it all that much after. I'm gonna just use, is this the best shade? Yeah, I'm gonna use Brisk, which is like a minty green. Oh. Okay, now I'm really aggravated because FedEx just came and I had to sign for a package for my husband and I look like trash. I really, really, really badly did not want to answer the door just there. I'm having a maybe not so great day. I'm gonna use this mint. The camera's over here. God, I'm gonna use this dirty ass brush because all of my brushes are dirty. Maybe that's why nothing looks good. But yeah, we're just gonna blend this out. It's probably not gonna work. Is that doing anything? Also, this lighting sucks. Maybe I should turn towards the window. Okay, so that's like blending it out, but it's also like, yeah, I guess this is fine. It's like blending it out. So I guess just using another shade to blend out this green is probably the best option. I don't know. This has been a disaster and I'm just so frustrated. I guess that looks better. I don't even care at this point. Whatever. The rest of the shit that I used was... Now I'm in a bad mood. I used this... What is this called? Sanctuary. I used it on the inner part of the crease. I used Animalia, which honestly was the shade that I was most excited to use from this palette, and it is really beautiful. I put it on the inner part of the lid. Oh, on the outer part of the lid, I put Familiar, which is the sparkly green. The camera's over here. I can't. I used that on the outer part of the lid. And then I used Majestic, where the two shimmers meet. I just like tapped it on and whatever. And then I used Rescue under the eye and Fauna on the inner corner. So I used like most of the shades in the palette. I used 6 shades and there were only 3 that I didn't use. These 2 and that one. I don't know. I hate the way I look. I'm so mad that I had to open the door looking like trash. My house is a mess. Everything sucks. Look at this lip color. It's way too warm for this look. Anyway, maybe tomorrow I'll do something better. I don't know. Okay, folks, so now it's time for the day 7 look. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Guys, I'm feeling so much better today. The last 2 days, I was really feeling off. I wasn't feeling particularly physically well yesterday. My health has been, I don't know, every day it's like a surprise. But sometimes it's not a good one. But yeah, I was feeling frustrated yesterday, so sorry if I came off as being grumpy. But today I'm feeling a lot better. I feel like I look a lot better. Yesterday I felt like putting on the makeup felt a little bit burdensome. Today I actually enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I took my time. I made sure that it was all right. I also changed my hair. Like I shortened my hair. And thank God, because I was feeling really, really ugly. I was really not liking the way that my hair looked before. But it looks a lot better now. I'm actually feeling quite handsome. So yeah, the eye look today. Let's get into it. I guess I'll start with the shadow that I started with, which was Shroom. This matte. I really, 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 really like this matte. It goes so nicely as just like a soft transition. Like this is going to be a go-to for me, honestly. This beautiful neutral transition. I put it all through the crease, and I also used it along the lower lash line, and I blended out. I guess I'll just tell you, jump to that. This shade Lush. I put that down on the outer corner because I wanted to use it. I was trying to use as many shadows as I could that I had not used. I'm pretty sure I've now used all of the shadows in all of these palettes. But anyway, I wanted to just throw this one on because I hadn't used it yet. So I put it on the outer corner or the outer edge of the lower lash line. I didn't necessarily like the way that it looked, though. It was a little too dark and intense, so I took shroom and I just kind of blended it out. So now you can see there is some green there, but I just kind of softened it with shroom. And then to deepen up my outer corner a little bit, I started with this shade Driftwood. I took it on the outer part of the lid. I took it up through the crease a bit, and I don't know, I think that it kind of helped to deepen up out there, but I did end up topping the outer part of the lid with another shade just because, I mean, we'll get there in a second actually. Let me tell you what I did next. I decided that I wanted to use this shade Smoky Pearl, which is like a cool tone neutral, but it leans a little purplish. Like, it's just on like the middle part of my lid, but it's so beautiful. And like, I swatched it and I thought it was so nice, and so I wanted it to be like the focal point kind of, and it's so sparkly. I just knew I really wanted it on the middle of the lid, so I put that one down. And then I took, from the Planet Spirit palette, I took this purple shade called Kindred. I hadn't used this one yet, so I wanted to make sure I used it. And I put it on like the outer part of the lid, not all the way to the edge, because I wanted to make that matte. But I did put that down. But I will say, once I put that down, it actually seemed a bit deeper than the Driftwood shade that I used for the outer corner. So I went back into the Flora Story palette, and I took this deep purple called Orchid, and I just put that on the very outer corner of the lid. Then I went in, I used a lot of shadows. I was trying to make sure I used as many as possible. I went in with, what's the name of it? Mermaid Scale, which is this green from the Sea Talk palette. And I put it on the inner part of the lid, and I kind of went back and forth with that one and Smoky Pearl to just make sure everything blended nicely. I did that also with the purple shade as well. Kind of went back and forth with them, made sure everything was blending nicely. And I thought that that was really, really beautiful. I think that it turned out really nicely. I hope that you guys think that it turned out nicely as well. On my inner corner, I went in with Dawn from the Flora Story palette. I just thought that would be good. I only used a tiny little bit, but it gives like a nice little highlight in the inner corner. Then, so on the bottom, like I said, I did use Lush, but I just felt like I needed to blend it out because it looked just too intense. Like I looked very like, it was just too much. So I blended it out with shroom, and I took shroom all the way across, blended out that, and I mean, that's the look. I don't know, I like it. I think it looks really, really good. I don't want to get into all the other things that I have on my face. I have an About Face lip liner and lip gloss. I don't want to go grab them. I had that ColourPop highlighter on. Oh, I did something different with my blush today. I kind of centered it here and like across the nose. I put some on my forehead, tiny bit on my chin, but instead of being like up here like I usually do, like back here or up here, I made it very much like here. So I think it looks cute. I like it. I think it looks cool. I don't know. But for that, I used my Kaleidos one, the like corally one that I have from Kaleidos. If you've seen my other videos where I talked about it, maybe you know which one it is. I don't know. Final thoughts though on these palettes. I did have some issues with some shadows. What was the one that I was having an issue with yesterday? So the dark green, or it's not even that dark, but weirdly enough, the Kingdom shade, it's called Kingdom, it gave me some issues blending out. That could have been my mistake. That could have been me not doing it right. Maybe this is the kind of shade that you need to really just pack on and just gently blend the edges. but I was kind of going in, I packed it on, and then I kind of did like swirling motions to blend it out, and it was just looking funky. And I was in a crummy mood, so it didn't work out. But so that was one shadow that I had a little bit of an issue with. Was it my fault? Maybe, but also maybe it was the shadow's fault. I don't know. I have to experiment with it some more. This is really just first impressions. The other thing that I could kind of say is maybe a complaint. This shade here, Iridescent Shell, it did not want to go on a brush for me. It worked beautifully with my finger, but it did not want to go on a brush at all. It was really, really strange because I put the brush in and it just kind of mushed. Can you see that there's like a big dent in it? It just mushed. And that was really, really strange. I was like, whoa, it like mushed kind of like a super shock shadow. And I was like, what the heck? And then I looked at my brush and it just had like a couple like flakes, like chunky flakes of this shadow on it. And I was like, that's not going to do anything. I was like, oh, what am I going to do with that? So I ended up using my finger. But I don't know, the fact that I can't pick it up with a brush, or I don't know, I'll maybe try again and see if maybe there's like a little bit of a, not a hard pan, but like maybe you have to just like mess with it a little bit first and then it will start to work on a brush. I don't know. I really don't know, but it didn't want to go on the brush that I was using at all. So that was a little bit of an issue. But other than that, I really enjoyed the palettes. I feel like I went in and didn't 100% know what any of the looks were going to look like because some of the, or a lot of the shadows didn't do what I anticipated they would do. They were maybe a little bit more or less pigmented than I thought they would be. And so, I mean, obviously that would have been something that I could have just fixed by just like swatching them, you know? But I think that this palette is the most pigmented. And it's also the most colorful. I was very excited for this one. So I think this one just goes with how I do my makeup the best. But I will say, I wish that there were some shades in this one that could blend out some. This is very mid-toned, I'll say. It benefits from having the other two palettes that you can play with as well. But a lot of beautiful, really pigmented shadows in here. This one, honestly, this one's so nice, and the only thing that I really have to say in terms of a complaint is that this doesn't pick up with a brush. But other than that, I really, really like this one. I was rather impressed with everything that I did with this one. Really nice. And then this one, this was kind of like, it was a lot more subtle than I anticipated. So whereas the Planet Spirit palette is very, very pigmented, these shades, even though they are pigmented, they are just kind of subtle and soft. Does that make sense? They're not going to give you like a super vibrant, crazy look. It's very kind of soft and subtle, which is perfectly fine. I loved both of the looks that I did with this palette, but just be aware of that. All together though, like as a collection, I think that these all work really beautifully together. I mean, look at the look I have on today. I think that's really cool. Look at that. It's beautiful, right? And yeah, I guess that's really all that I have to say. You saw my looks. My first impression of this collection is that it's overall quite nice. I will definitely be using these palettes again in the future. Anyway, I definitely hope that you enjoyed watching me mess around with these shadows. Sorry that I was a little bit grumpy in a few of the snippets. I've just been having a little bit of a rough week. Rough month, I don't even know. It's been weird, you guys. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Check me out. I post every Sunday and Wednesday. And I guess I'll be seeing you on Wednesday, right? This is going up on Sunday, so I'll see you Wednesday. Peace.